Hello and welcome back to more FF12. The escape of Nalbina dungeon, I think is what we were doing. Considering where we stood, I'm gonna go with that anyway. I may randomly pick the next job rather than doing a poll. Just for variety's sake, but also I want to record a bunch, so we'll see when we get there though. Depends on, I can't remember how many minutes from here it is.
There are more turnkeys than cut purses down here. I've had my fill of chains. Let's tread lightly, shall we?
So, he says let's tread lightly, which gives the implication that maybe you should sneak around this area, but for one, that's just wasted XP, but also two, it's physically impossible to actually sneak through this area without fighting things. For instance, if we stand here, you'll notice we immediately aggro something. We can, however, do this so that nothing happens, but you know, they, as I was trying to demonstrate earlier, they can aggro up there. So, it's rather annoying because the AI doesn't really care about your attempts at sneakiness. They'll just aggro you anyway. Plus, as I said, it's wasted XP not to fight these dudes, so. Plus they give potions occasionally. It's also due to the gun over there. The Imperials have hoplites, regular sword dude, gun dude, and mages, I believe, are all of the available options that the Imperials have. Just seeing if there's anything over there. Don't know why, it's always fucking not so for us, but hey. But anyway, those are the options that the Imperials always have throughout the entire game. I don't know why my camera... Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that. Get back into combat real quick. You can hit this button and lock on to whatever your target is. We'll zoom the camera in and focus on your target. Not necessarily sure what the purpose of that would be, but... you know, it's there if you need it, I suppose. I should adjust Freyan. Oh, she's at 70, okay. I thought I had her at 30 still, I couldn't remember. You also do get, for the first time in the game, more than likely, you'll get a chain level down here as you fight things. Which I don't think the game ever explains at any point in the process of playing it, but essentially, I'm just gonna run around and check for loot. Essentially what a chain level is if you kill... Sorry, I keep putting the controller down, it's hitting that button. If you kill enemies back-to-back that are of the same type, genus or whatever, I don't remember what it uses. I think it's genus that it uses. You will accrue this chain level, and as your chain level gets higher, you get better loot. Primarily better loot. So you'll get more of it, better loot, and then as you reach the highest levels of the chain, and when it makes that noise and changes colors is when you hit the next level of chain. As you reach the highest levels, you will get heals and buffs out of the loot drops as well. So when we get to the next area, well, no, the area after the next. Are you okay, dude? Did you forget how stairs work? Chairs as well. I will show you a much higher chain level because there is a decent place to grind for levels, but also gil in that area that I will be showing you and taking advantage of. It's not necessary to grind, but it is also a good source of gil in the early game, so I would recommend taking advantage of it when we get there. And we're in. To be greeted immediately by another cutscene, as is tradition with Final Fantasy. They like cutscenes.
You have grown very thin, Basch. Less than a shadow, less than a man. Sentenced to death, and yet you live? Why?
To silence Hondor. How many times must I say it?
Is that all?
Why not ask Vayne himself? Is he not one of your masters?
We've caught a leader of the insurgents. She's being brought from Rabanasta, the woman, Amalia. Who could that be? Such a faithful hound to cling so to a fallen kingdom.
Better than throwing it away.
Throwing it away, as you threw away our homeland.
Who's there?
This the place?
The mist is flowing through this room. It must be going somewhere.
You're no Imperials. Please, you must get me out.
It's against my policy to speak with the dead, especially when they happen to be Kingslayers.
I did not kill him.
Is that so? Huh. Glad to hear it.
Please, get me out. For the sake of Dalmasca.
Dalmasca? What do you care about Dalmasca? Everything that's happened is because of you! Everyone that's died, every single one. Even my brother. You killed my brother!
Quiet! The guards will hear.
I'm dropping it.
Pirates without a sky. Spare us your quiddities.
Yeah, but he's a...
A traitor, I know. Stay here and fight if you want. If you can walk, let's go.
You're taking him with us?
We could use another sword arm.
And you have it.
Basch joins the party as a guest. Woo! For the time being, obviously being a guest, we cannot do anything with him, and also, he has no equipment, being a man that just fell out of a cage in the sky, but that's not what I meant. Hit equipment. There we go. Oh right, we can't even look at his equipment, I keep forgetting. He starts with nothing, he's got no armor or anything, I don't think. He has his fists, so he can punch things to death if so desired. Which is all he's going to do. By the way, I recommend getting those treasure chests, because otherwise, you will not have nearly enough gil to do what we need to do here, so. Talk to Burrow real quick. So he mentions the only way out is where, inconveniently, that thing fell, so. But he sells things. Before we buy things, obviously we must sell all of his things, all of our things to him. I don't know how the English language works anymore, that's okay. So we should have enough gil to get everyone in the party appropriate equipment, not counting Basch, because I don't know what his appropriate equipment is. And we may also get a bazaar. We did get a bazaar good. We got several. There's really no reason not to buy the item packs because it is cheaper than buying the items individually. This kit contains potions and tufts of phoenix down. So let's, for instance, this is 450. Let's see what it gives us. So for 450, we get 2 potions, 2 phoenix downs. If we were to buy those individually, It would be 500. Yeah, I can math. Yeah, so 500. So we save 50 gil doing that. You can also buy equipment. Not necessarily, sorry. It doesn't say anything important there, but not necessarily the most important thing to be doing with your gil. Purchasing the equipment ones, but if they're available, why wouldn't you? He also sells gambits and magic. Not much magic, but we will purchase dark from him because we have someone that can cast it. Immobilize I don't really use. Slow I do use. And at some point we'll purchase Vox and Poisona and Blindna. Poisona? We'll purchase those at some point, but for right now, before we do any more gear purchasing, one of these days I'll remember to hit the right button. I want to check the license board because we're doing something specific with people, I'm pretty sure. But first we'll grab that. I want to get slot 2 of armor and probably just slot 1 of most of the weapons, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm moving Vaughn down here to the battle harness because it's fairly good for him. You don't need anything, do you? You have maces unlocked, and I think that's all we need of her. Oh yeah, we need charge too. Does this guy sell techniques? She can use shields. What? Interesting to note. Yeah, I want to make it out alive. Does he sell techniques? He does, but not the one I need. That's unfortunate. Anyway, let's go ahead and buy some stuff. So you are a machinist still, so you can have a gun, which you can't equip from here, which just makes me sad, but... She can have her mace. You can have this. Relatively cheap equipment for now, but it is going to take most of our money to purchase this stuff. Especially all of this nonsense. So we don't want to buy her this leather stuff. We want to buy her the same stuff Vaughn is getting. So we already have... Oops. I've already screwed this up, so I'm just going to do it this way. Purchase a silken shirt, because we already have one. And I think that's it. Oops. Shield anywhere? No. Light woven shirt? No. So we just need leather breastplate and a head guard for all the year. And then equip this stuff to the other two, and then we're good. Yeah, sometimes you sold stuff to caravans, I know. There we go. So everyone has upgraded equipment minus ammunition because we can't get upgraded ammunition for quite a while, unfortunately. There's a treasure chest with parallel arrows somewhere. I don't remember where, but it exists. But I don't know about shot. It's gonna take a little bit. But anyway, we have a mace now. No shield for her yet because she doesn't have the license for it. But if we hit the switch, nothing happens because it has no power. The switch opens that gate, and this entire area has a little gimmicky sort of thing going on in it, but nothing huge. In fact, most of the time I actually purposefully ignore the gimmick to get additional experience, but anyway. If we press this switch, nothing happens. But Balthier, the ever knowledgeable person that he is, determines that the fuse is a balloon. And obviously, given that there's only one other person down here, you should probably talk to the shopkeep down here. The trader, I guess, not the shopkeep. Who, conveniently, happens to have made a tube fuse out of random parts of trash he found down here. Quite the engineer there. Made a freaking tube fuse out of random pieces of stuff that apparently works for this. So the gimmick, which they'll explain shortly, so I don't really need to explain, but I'm going to anyway. The gimmick here is that charge bar. It takes a certain amount of charge to open gates, which, you know, makes sense. And the lower the charge gets, the more, quote, fearsome the enemies in the area are. Let the charge drop and some fierce beasts start coming out. Indeed. Now you would think, you know, if the charge only goes down with the gates, that should be easy enough to manage because they should give you exactly enough charge to do stuff. But no, there's mimics hanging out.
Hey, who turned out the lights? One of those?
I've heard of these. Mimics. They disguise themselves as all manner of things, then strike when you're least wary. Some of them have a fondness for energy, I'm told. They gorge themselves on the stuff till there's naught left.
So, what happens then?
Lights out, and it's worse in the dark. Much worse. So, let them get too close to one of those conduits, and they'll suck it dry. But don't worry, it'll give the energy back if you ask nicely. Sticking it with a sword helps too. Clock's ticking.
They make it sound much worse than it actually is in this place. You have to actively try to fail in order to let your charge drop all the way to 0 consistently. Plus we should have some decent damage now that we've got some slightly better equipment for people. Except for Basch, because he's got nothing. As you can see, we killed that thing, gave us stuff back. There's another one around here somewhere sucking energy out. The little baby mimic things, tiny mimics, like apparently is what they're called. Those do not suck charge out, but they do bother you. That's pretty much their entire purpose, is just existing to bother you. Fran walking up beating things. Battery mimics do have the ability to self-heal. I think they usually only do it once or twice though before you manage to kill them. But if you're just going along like I am, like you expect to be doing, and fighting the battery mimics as you go, they're just gonna fight that, I guess. That's fine. They'll get over here eventually. If you're just moving along like I am, it's highly unlikely you will lose all of the charge. In fact, to lose all of the charge, you have to intentionally not kill a mimic, which I will be doing, because I actually prefer the charge to hit 0. And because I am going to intentionally not kill a mimic, specifically that one. Because also someone reminded me that I can hit L3 to cause a Diablo-esque map to appear. But the reason I'm not killing that one is because there's nothing down there. There's no reason for me to go down there. So we'll just leave him to do his thing. But in the process, in the process of leaving him to do his thing, I'm going to up the multiplier. Because otherwise it takes far too long to actually drop the charge, unfortunately. I won't leave it on ×4 forever because, you know, obviously. There's also another mimic down here that I might not kill to have the charge drop faster. Well, there's supposed to be a mimic down here. Oh, there it is. I can't see. There we go. Alright, so the charge is low enough that it's going to start spawning some additional enemies, so we'll just drop it to ×2. There's no reason to have it on super speed anymore. So this is why I like the charge to drop. Because it will spawn a bunch of enemies constantly as you walk around, and it's basically just free extra XP, because these aren't hard enemies to fight, as you can see. And they give a substantial amount, plus the LP. In the early game, LP is very important to get, not necessarily to get equipment licenses, the LP is important to get the passive stat bonuses. They do cause poison, unfortunately, but the passive stat bonuses are huge. This also goes to spawn here, unfortunately. If you can stack up early game the swiftness and channeling and all those, and the magic and physical potency ups and stuff like that, if you can stack those early, you're in a very good position to deal with enemies that you fight. I have been poisoned. So generally speaking, this is basically what I do down here. I should probably, well no, we'll keep the poison for now. This is generally speaking, when I go through this area, what I tend to try to do. I don't care that Basch is blind because he doesn't do any damage anyway. I do care that I'm poisoned though, I forgot. I need to get rid of that. Best to have some antidotes when you do this, though. You also need to be careful of killing this battery mimic. Only if you have ranged characters, though. If you have ranged characters, they'll try and shoot it from down here, so... Just try and make sure they don't do that, and then we'll continue our journey. Fighting these zombies along the way. Plus, curiously enough, the strips of foul flesh are actually worth a decent chunk of gil in the early game. I don't know necessarily why people are buying strips of foul flesh, but they are. We got lucky and this guy missed his poison. Thankfully, because I really didn't want to deal with removing another poison. We don't have that many antidotes. And we do have quite a bit of area to go, so... Now soon, because there is a gate we have to open, soon we will have to kill some mimics. It's pretty much forced on us unless you just... Good God, Vaughn. It's pretty much forced on us unless you intentionally ignore the mimics. I've been blinded. I dropped it. Now Vaughn being blinded, as you saw, considering how much damage he does, is not necessarily good. When we reach the next area, which is just over here to our right, we will kill a mimic, or 2 or 3 or 4. I think it's 2 in there, I'm not sure. So our charge will go back up, and then I don't know if there's any actual reason to be in there. Apart from loot, obviously. Loot is good. There's supposed to be a mimic here as well. There it is. I don't know why it's not trying to suck the charge out of the wall. Probably because there is none, I guess, but even still, usually they wander over to those and stand on them aggressively. So we're gonna get all of our charge back from here. Unfortunately for our experienced games, but it's not a big problem. I think level 9 is plenty to go through this area with ease. I think that's the level of the boss. Unfortunately, we're blind again. I can set up gambits to deal with things like poison and blind if I wanted to, but for now I'm just going to continue doing it manually. But I will set those up later for certain characters like Vaughn. Vaughn will not have very many gambits. Oh, these also spawn down here, I forgot. The skeletons I would actually rather fight. Fran has no MP. And I didn't realize. I'd rather fight the skeletons because of the drops they have, but it's not a huge deal. Because we're going to be fighting about 9,000 skeletons soon anyway. So we will get plenty of drops, but the only reason to come through here is the loot. Which is the battle harness that I want. Also shows you this room, which is the room we're supposed to be in. Unfortunately, we can't get to it because we're not allowed to jump off of things in this game. Unfortunately, but you know. So let's continue making our way down this way. The battle harness causes the person with it equipped to automatically counterattack when they are hit. So he's just gonna fuck off that way. Slimes, as you will see, take very, very little damage from unarmed. They actually take very little damage from physical in general, unfortunately. But physical, of course, is all we have. I think they're weaker to blunt than any other form of damage, but you know, our highest DPS is going to be Vaughn for reasons that should be obvious, considering the combos he just put out. Samurai is a very powerful DPS, but unfortunately, well, I guess that's not really a problem in this version, but unfortunately Samurai has no real party usefulness, because they, you know, they hit things with a giant sword. That is their purpose. That is all their purpose is. That is all they will ever do. Well, why is the charge still dropping if you are not consuming the electricity over there? doesn't really matter, but I really hate dealing with these. These are flan, by the way. Or flan? I always say flan. I hate dealing with these here because they're not dangerous. They just take 9.5 hours to kill. And unfortunately, we do not have charge at this point. So the fact that Fran is blind is rather, not blind, is out of MP is rather annoying because she has no emergency means of regaining MP. Now what I can do, something I haven't explained, is just do this. Because you regen MP as you are running around, so. And you'll see me do this sometimes. I'm not gonna do it very much because, you know, as you can tell, it's rather boring to just do this repeatedly. But that is a way to get MP back if you are low on MP and have no means of getting it back and don't want to use ethers or anything like that. There's another mimic somewhere. Probably that one in the freaking main hall that I just left over there. Or this one. I don't know. I didn't mean to hit fleeing. That's alright. Now the reason we're here is there should be a switch that we're able to push here. Yeah, it's over there. It's marked on the map. That switch allows us to open a gate. The gate is required to progress, so before our energy drops too much, I'm gonna sort of make a beeline over in this direction. I don't really have an issue because there's a mimic right here, but better be safe than sorry and make sure we have the charge required to actually. Oh, thanks for curing him instead of me. Wow. Charge required to open the gate. Oh, hello. I think there's also some loot up here as well, but the main thing to get from here is the battle harness. Not necessarily an expensive item, mind you, but an item nonetheless that is useful. By the way, yes, that was first aid healing for 39 health. In fact, there is actually no reason for me to have first aid on his thing. So I'm just gonna turn that off. All first aid does is cause Balthier to try and heal someone ineffectively instead of killing whatever's attacking us. So best to just turn it off. This is the only other switch we're required. Actually, I think it's the only other switch that exists in this area. Not loot here? There it is, okay. I was about to say, I swear there's stuff here, but. Come on, Flondy. Oh. Basch is probably gonna die in a second. Yeah, there he goes. Conveniently, he's not actually important to anything, so I think I may just leave him dead, because he doesn't do any damage right now. He will soon do damage, but not yet. Obviously, not having a weapon sort of limits his ability to kill things, unfortunately, but, you know. There should be a flaw over here, yeah. It's almost like I've played this before. The downside, of course, you know, Basch isn't getting any XP, but he is currently marked as a guest, so I do not believe he cares about the XP he gets. I certainly don't. Well, there's more flan over here, apparently. I will be doing leveling off camera primarily anyway, so even if I'm inefficient on camera sometimes, like primarily using a single party for most of the time, but you know, that's not here nor now. I will level things up off camera if need be, so nothing will be lost and all of that jazz. Pick this up, move on, get healed. We didn't go this way, which should have a flan, but also there should be a treasure chest up here. I don't remember it having anything useful, but there should be a treasure chest nonetheless. We got a chain level. There's not. I feel lied to. I've been betrayed by the game. I also need to adjust my glasses. I hate having glasses. They're rather annoying. I should probably get some new ones, but that's alright. There you go. Alright. Let us continue our journey of fighting Flan, apparently. I sort of wish we'd stop fighting these, but, you know. I could just sprint past this dude and go to the next area, but it's XP, yo. 69, specifically. Oh yeah, there's a mimic in this area. I forgot. You know what? We're gonna use an ether. We don't have a lot of them, and it's probably not the best use, but we're gonna use an ether to give Fran some MP back. Because I'm rather tired of her not having the MP to heal. At least for now. There should be a save point rather soon that'll allow us to actually. Is there one? I think there's a save point in this little tiny room right there, the midpoint of this area. The slimes have arrived. Thank you for missing. Please miss again. I hope you didn't miss again. I guess it's not a huge deal if she's blind. It is a lower damage, but she does like double damage with on right now. On these things, anyway. She's also currently our tank, but doesn't have her shield. But you know, please don't blind me. What do I say these things for? Hello? I was wondering what that noise behind us was. It is Balthier being molested by a specter. Hello, friend. We're blind. You think it'd be easier to hit you considering you're... Excuse me? Don't fly over there and make a clone of yourself. That's rude. Man, I really hate this right now. I was gonna try and not use eye drops or anything, but now two of us are blind because I'm a doofus. Alright, there's one down. We've done it. We've killed a basic enemy. And she doesn't have MP and is probably going to die now. Should probably heal her. In fact, I wonder if we should just run away instead of dealing with this nonsense that I've created by not having any MP ever, and also Basch being dead. We should probably revive Basch. Nah, you'll get revived by the save point, we'll be right. Just need to kill this thing. And stop poisoning everyone. Literally everyone in the whole party is poisoned. Please don't kill her. Okay, before she dies to poison, let's move on to the next area, please.
Mist seethes.
It reeks. Something's close. Nice moves there, Captain.
You mean traitor?
So they say. But I didn't see him kill anyone.
My brother did.
Rex. He said he had a brother 2 years younger. I see. He meant you. Your brother. What became of...
He's dead.
I'm sorry.
It was you who killed him.
I give you my word. That was not the way of it.
Rex, sir. My name's Rex. All I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I. Living in
Time, Basch. Save the discussion for later.
We found them!
But if we arrive after he signed the treaty...
Sir, we have little time. You must go to the
As I
tank.
feared. They're slowing
my
us
home,
down.
Captain Ozilus's, and for my parents. Captain, why? Our king, have you done?
His Majesty was a traitor.
A twin brother. Fancy that. But still, the pieces fit, I'll give you that much. And he did look like you.
I don't believe you.
Of course not. It was my fault that Rex was there. I am sorry.
My brother, he trusted you. He trusted you and he lost everything. How can I believe you?
Not me, then. Believe in your brother. He was a fine soldier. He fought to the last to protect his homeland. No. Surely he fought to protect his brother.
You don't know anything!
Believe what you want to. Whatever it takes to make you happy. What's done is done.
Alrighty, oh, we didn't even have to touch the save point. Basch just revived himself. So we now have him. He's still a guest. We can't see his equipment, but can't see his gambits. There you go. Not particularly amazing. We could change that to lowest HP. I'm not particularly bothered. Should actually change this to... Well, I could change this first so it actually lets me do that. So attack. And then not party leader. Party leader's target. There we go. So everyone except for Basch. No, Basch does too. Everyone should prioritize party leader's target except for Fran. That's what I meant to say. So there we go. Now he's got a weapon. He's actually useful. We can all rejoice in his usefulness. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and set up everyone's licenses once again. Not set up, but look through everyone's licenses once again. And I will see you guys when I'm back. Thanks for watching. See you then.